To welcome Pete Hegseth here at NATO again. You were here in February. You were very clear about the agenda you and President Trump are driving. We heard the message. Today will be an important meeting because today we will agree on the capability targets we need going forward to keep 1 billion people safe in NATO territory. From this, we will decide at the NATO summit to the spending. And we already know we need to spend much more if we want to fulfill all these targets. And by the way, by doing that, we will also equalize in terms of spending between Canada and Europe and the United States. There has been a total commitment by the US to NATO, but also this expectation that European and Canadian allies will step up spending, and I'm pretty confident we will get there at the summit. I also want to thank you and the President for what you are doing with Ukraine, driving the peace, engaging with President Putin, breaking the deadlock. And I think that is extremely important. And also today we will discuss Ukraine. So, Pete, thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you for being such a staunch ally.
Well, I appreciate it. I want to thank the Secretary General for doing a fantastic job here. Not an easy place to lead. A lot of divergent perspectives, but everybody shares an understanding and a commitment to our collective defense. So well done. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming to visit the White House, being a friend of the United States. I also want to thank our ambassador to NATO here, Matt Whitaker, who has done a phenomenal job representing President Trump here and American interests. But nobody has done more, I would argue. And if you just look in plain speak at the commitments in the budgets of NATO countries, then President Trump to restore NATO as an alliance. He did it in his first term, saying, you can't freeload, you need to spend, you need to be a part of that commitment. European countries stepped up. Now we're seeing even more so with even higher targets that Ambassador Whitaker and the Secretary General have set. We're talking about capabilities today, and that's important. You got to know what you're spending it on. And then that's going to be reflected, we believe, and the reason I'm here is to make sure every country in NATO understands every shoulder has to be to the plow. Every country has to contribute at that level of 5% as a recognition of the nature of the threat. It can't be about the flags that we love. It has to be about the formations that we have. It's that hard power that actually deters. And it can't just be U.S. capabilities.
In a moment that sent shockwaves through the international diplomatic community, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered a bold and unexpected statement that left NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte visibly stunned during a high-level NATO summit. This powerful exchange, now making headlines around the world, marks a significant turning point in global military strategy and alliance dynamics. In this video, we break down exactly what happened, why it matters, and what this could mean for the future of NATO and global security. Secretary Hegseth, known for his direct and unapologetic style, confronted pressing issues such as burden sharing, Europe's military readiness, and NATO's response to growing global threats from Russia, China, and rogue states. With tensions already high due to recent military escalations in Eastern Europe and increased cyber threats, his words echoed far beyond the summit chamber. What truly shocked observers, however, was Hegseth's insistence on America First defense policies, even within the NATO alliance. He demanded that European nations rapidly increase defense spending and accused some NATO members of relying too heavily on the United States' military strength while not pulling their own weight. In response, NATO Secretary General Rutte, newly appointed and navigating his first major crisis in this role, struggled to maintain diplomatic composure, clearly taken aback by the American tone. Was this a power play by the United States to reshape NATO into a more aggressive, responsive force? Or was it a warning shot to Europe that the U.S. will no longer accept being the primary military backer of the alliance without significant reforms? This detailed video covers. We also include exclusive footage and sound bites from the summit, capturing the tense atmosphere and the weight of the words spoken. You'll hear the exact moment Secretary Hegseth delivered his remarks, the pause in the room that followed, and the measured but visibly shaken response from Secretary General Rutte. Whether you support a more assertive U.S. stance on global military alliances or are concerned about the fractures forming within NATO, this video presents all sides of the conversation. It's a must-watch for those interested in international relations, military strategy, and geopolitical power shifts. Make sure to watch until the end for expert commentary and predictions on how this might influence NATO's upcoming military plans and what other world leaders are saying behind closed doors.